All right, so thanks guys for joining me on this. This is gonna be a real fun one. In this first week, we're gonna talk about before creation, what to do before you even create your app. At the very end of this presentation, which I think is around 70 slides, we're gonna start just at that point talking about what you should do to create it, all right? Because this is probably the most important part. And if you haven't been published and you've wanted to, and you've tried to create a game, but you haven't been able to get over that hump, I would think that this is probably why. Because before you even open up Pixelmator, Photoshop, or even Buildbox, you really have to sit down and take some time to think about what am I creating, why am I creating it, and why is this going to get published? You know, I mentioned this, I believe, on the special event for the Buildbox Master Collection. I know I've talked about it in the past, but when we submit a game to a company like Ketchup, we are about 80 to 90% sure that we're going to get that game published by them. Actually, out of all the games we've ever submitted, I can only think of one or two that which were actually not our games, it was games that customers made back when we were submitting games to them from customers, and we don't do that anymore. It got too complicated. I had a great experience with Mike, though, doing that with Bounce, but we found it was better to do stuff internally. And you know, I think only one or two games did they ever say, we're not sure on, right? We didn't get definitive no's necessarily, but they just weren't 100% sure on. So I'm gonna show you guys how we know that, right? It's not some magic, it's not even a magic formula, it's pretty simple. I'm gonna walk you through that, but it's all about before you actually create the game. And this is not going to just be about Buildbox publishing. It's not going to just be about Ketchup. There's a lot of publishers out there. And a lot of our students who are having a lot of success right now, like Kevin with Rising High Apps, and today the really cool MakeyBot game that got released with under Absolute. Both of those guys use Absolute a lot. There's a lot of really good publishers out there, so we're going to be covering all of that. All right, so this week in this presentation, we're going to first talk about your game plan. What is your game plan? You can't get into a business, right? And this is a business. Even if it's fun, it's still a business. But you can't get into a business without a game plan. If you do, you're going to have a really tough time. So we're going to talk about what specifically your game plan is. And then how to identify publishers. We're going to have a huge list of publishers for you. Then how to come up with game ideas by analyzing publishers. And then gathering all the elements and preparing yourself for next week, which is actually creating the game. All right, so let's start off talking about your specific game plan. When making a game, you have two options, all right? Now, you might have a lot of options. You go console and all that, but assuming we're all on the same page here, you bought Buildbox, so you're thinking about making a game with Buildbox, right? You have two options. One, you can do it all by yourself, all right? And I'm talking about everything. You can create the game by yourself. You can do ASO and cross your fingers, you know, for your keywords and all that kind of stuff. Try to make all the connections and just do everything solo. Or you can work with other people, which is typically going to be getting published, especially on the marketing side. And before we go further, I do recommend that these are the only two steps you actually take. There are other steps, okay? You could go hire a big marketing firm. You could hire a PR firm. But none of that stuff is going to most likely be profitable for you. All right, and we've tested it. We've tested all that stuff. I've talked to people at Triple Point PR who did PR for Doodle Jump back in the day, and I've hired companies to do traffic for us. We've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on AdWords, on Twitter, on Facebook ads, all this stuff, and these are the two things that have worked for us. Doing it ourselves or getting it published. Now, we're obviously going to be focusing on the latter, right? It's called Publishing Live, so that's what we're going to focus on. But I also feel that this is by far the best approach to take in today's climate. Now, I would have not said that 3 years ago, but this is a fast-moving business and things have changed. And I think right now, this is the best approach to take, especially with a Buildbox style game. If you're gonna go out there and you're gonna build something like Candy Crush and you gotten funded for $3 million and all this kind of stuff, then this video and this series is not gonna be necessarily for you. This is for Buildbox customers who are creating Buildbox games, simple, addictive games that do well in the App Store. Now, you literally make more money while doing less work when you go with the publishing model, all right? And this isn't about being lazy, but it's just true because you're not gonna have to do the actual work of promoting your game and then you're going to end up doing better in the long run. So it's a pretty good situation to be in. But there is a trade-off, and the trade-off is you are essentially building someone else's business instead of your own. Every time you go with a publisher, you're helping to get their brand out there, and you're going to get yours out there too. We're going to discuss that as well. But there's no question it's under their account, right? And there's a lot of people, we'll publish a game with Ketchup that we've worked extremely hard on, and they go, oh, that Ketchup game was great. Ketchup, you make the best games, right? And of course, we worked really hard on that, but that's okay, because I believe that this is rectified by the connections and the opportunities you make when you go the publishing route. You have a better shot at getting press. You have a better shot at meeting people in the industry and gaining traction when connected to a larger brand. And this is not only with mobile games and mobile game publishers. It's the same with everything out there. If you're going to write a book and you're serious about it and you've worked really hard, you're going to hope that you're going to get signed by a publisher like HarperCollins and that you're going to be right in that front section when you walk into Barnes & Noble, right? If you get a record deal, you're going to hope that Sony or BMG, you're going to get a really big record deal, get signed by a label, and then they're going to publish your album out there. And it's the same in the video game world. None of this is new. It's all the way that all other media has worked. And as soon as the App Store was proven, we saw this starting to happen in our ecosystem as well. It's a very normal thing to evolve, right? And it's happened in the console world for a while. EA is one of the biggest game publishers out there. They don't make every single EA game that you see. A lot of those are published. So on a personal note, we've personally made more money and gotten more downloads with publishing than not publishing. So my personal experience has been really good with publishing. It's been a huge reason for our business has catapulted in the last 12 months. In fact, I'm happy to announce we've done over 25 million downloads in the past year, which is pretty phenomenal. This is 2.5x the amount of downloads we made the previous 4 years. Before we started publishing games, we had 10 million downloads, which is not bad at all. I think it was like 13 million, something like that. Now we got like 37 or something. It's crazy, right? So, but that's been a huge reason for the success. And we've had a lot more downloads after we started publishing. So joining forces is the fastest way to have really serious growth. So if you're going to publish your game, the first thing you need to do is identify these publishers. Before you even think about the game you want to make, you need to know who you're going to get published by. Now, this probably seems a little bit backwards, but this is exactly what we do each time. This way, your chances of getting published is extremely high. All right, so here's what I mean by that. I think most people go, I know this for a fact because now that we've launched BuildBox Publishing and that I've worked with a lot of you guys and other customers in the past, they bring a game, they go, hey, we've been working on this for a while. And we're going to submit this to you. We're going to submit it to, this publisher, this publisher, this publisher. And yeah, we're really excited to see what happens. And not to say you should not submit to multiple publishers, because you should. You should definitely submit to multiple publishers. But you should have a pretty strong idea that your game is going to get published because you've nailed down a specific publisher that you are going for. And you've seen the type of games that they publish, and you know it's a good fit. So first we're going to check out this list of publishers and we're going to discuss each one. Then we're going to talk about how to identify what type of game they would publish and then how to make that game. All right. So here's the list of mobile publishers. Go ahead and get your screenshot. If you're on a Mac, go ahead and do Command-Shift-4 and wait for it. It's going to take a few minutes for them all to load up. But this is the big master list. There's more on here, or there's more that should be on here that are always coming on board. The best way to find out if someone's a publisher is look at the top charts. All right, just go through all these guys, look at the different games they put out there. And the first thing is look and see if you feel like those games are made by different people. For example, if you go look at Nitrome, all right, Nitrome. It's either Nitrome or Nitrome. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. If it was me, I would do Nitrome. I think that sounds cooler. But Nitrome makes some really cool games, and you'll notice all the art style is very, very similar. All right, it's this really cool pixel art style. Pretty sure that those guys aren't publishers because everything they put out there looks exactly the same. It looks like it's one studio house doing that. Now, I don't know. I could be wrong, and one of you guys, when we do Q&A, please correct me if I am. But regardless, that would not be someone I would want to do a lot of investigation to figure out if they are a publisher. And again, let me know if you guys know something different. But I actually did go look at their website to confirm this before the start. I'm pretty sure I saw no mention of that. And that's the next point of this. If you see someone that does look like they're putting out different style games, different types of games, some pixel or even minimal that are a little bit different, like Ketchup, right? Or even when you guys see what we are putting out there, it's definitely some different styles going on, or Absolute, any of those guys. Adult Swim. And what you can do is go to their website and see if they say, are you interested in publishing your game? Then, click here and contact us. And now a lot of those people will have just contact forms on their website. Some of them will have actual email addresses as well. But that's how you find out if they're a publisher, because they're going to obviously want people to publish with them and want to look at games. So if you see someone you think might be, just go check out their website like we did with these. All right, so Ketchup, right? That's the biggest publisher right now out there. These guys are obviously huge, good friends of ours and great people. Apps for Life. They've published a few different customers, and we've seen them popping up a good bit. Electronic Arts, if you have a really high-end game. But I'll tell you what's interesting. Guys like Electronic Arts and Chilingo, it used to be they would never publish a Billbox style game. They were only going after this really high-quality console style game. And that's changed a lot. You'll go look at Chilingo. I'm going to use them as an example later about how they do focus on 3D games, and their most best performing games are. But all these guys are starting to push out the more minimal games because of the success that Ketchup and other people pushing these simple games have seen. Orange Nose Studios has done some cool games. I think this is the one that did a bite game that could definitely be done in Billbox. It hit the top 25, and it was really, really cool game. I played the heck out of that game. Glue Games does publishing. Bulky Pigs, Mini Clip, Storm Factory, Tango, Adult Swim, believe it or not, does publishing. A lot of those games are published. A guy named Syed Shubar, who I know that Simon Crack, one of our customers, has had a ton of success. He's published some games through him. Of course, Absolute has done really well. Cartoon Network, and then AppRope. And again, this is just some that we found. There's a lot more out there. And of course, I forgot one. Of course, Billbox. As you guys know, we just announced that we are now doing our own publishing, and I'm very excited about that. Actually set up a whole new company run by Aaron from Tasty Pill just around this concept, and really excited about that. So, and we also, I'm going to talk a little bit about us. Now, we have the most competitive split rates, which is 50-50. You won't find anyone out there that I know of that I've ever heard of doing that. Most of the guys they take 70% and give you 30%. I don't know if you guys know that. It's not like the App Store where you can get 70%. Typically, and it makes sense because if they have a lot of traction, if they're able to push your game up into the top, get you featured and do all this stuff, then it's worth it. And also, we have connections with the App Store, which is really awesome. We are talking to them about what we're doing, and I'm excited about that. We also have a 200,000 person email list, and then we have nearly 100,000 social media followers and more, and we'll be promoting on all these sources our customers' games. And the only publishing company that has more reach than us right now is Ketchup. So pretty cool. I would definitely try to go Ketchup first. I'm going to be honest with you. You can do really well with them. We have. All right, and we're exclusive for Billbox customers, and that's a big one. Because of this, we're the only publishing company that will actually tweak your game to make it work, and that's something Ketchup or no one else will be able to do for you. For example, this is a game that we received called Ushi. All right, and Ushi was a cool game. In defense of the guy who made this, the background was a little more detailed and cooler, but it looked too much like another game. So that was made by a Billbox customer we really respect, and we didn't want to put out something that accidentally looked too much like his. All right, so this is what we had with Ushi. And what we did is we gave this to our artist in-house, and we told him we wanted to come up with a new concept on this. And here's what he made. We renamed the game Cavern. I actually renamed it and found this font. And then we had our artist make this really look like a cave, like you're in this really cool cave looking atmosphere. We did some of the icons a little bit and just gave it a nice little sheen. Now here's what the game Ushi looked like, and it's a really fun game. And just so you guys know, as a publishing company, what we're looking for is really good gameplay. Because again, we can tweak. We have artists on staff, right? We have game designers on staff. We have all this stuff on staff, and we can tweak little things here and there. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We prefer to get things that are completed, obviously, right? Now, I would not send us just concepts, right? We still have a 3-stage process. It's not easy to get published with BuildBox games. But we will do things like this, where we tweak things. We add in a new character if we think the game has a lot of potential, like we did for Cavern. And Cavern will be the second game that we are releasing through BuildBox Publishing, which you will see in probably 3 to 4 weeks. We're a little bit delayed because we're working with the App Store guys behind the App Store on these releases. But anyway, really excited to see this. I think it's going to do extremely well. It's a cute game. It's got a lot of atmosphere. We changed the music and the overall vibe, but all of the gameplay was still done by the customer, right? This is not like we went in there and ripped his game up. We just kind of added a little bit of flair on top. So we truly feel we're the best option for our customers, but that said, this is a series that is not just about us, okay? So for the rest of this course, we're gonna focus on publishers in general. This is not gonna be, just where I talk about BuildBox Publishing and that's it. But remember, as a customer, you can submit anytime, and to do that, the process is simple. You submit your game with a video and 3 screenshots to support@buildbox.com, support@buildbox.com. And then we have a 3-stage acceptance process. If we think it has potential, then we'll tell you, okay, you've made it past the first step. We need to see this, this, and this, and this, and some changes. Then you come back. If you make it past that stage 2, we're in stage 3, and that's where we get involved. And we go, okay, well, now we're looking really good. I think that we need to change some designs. We're going to do this. You do this, and then of course we get the game ready to go. And you can submit as many games as you wish. But I will tell you this: our quality level is extremely, extremely high. Honestly, even some of the other publishers I've seen out there have put out stuff that we would not. I want us to have really high quality. That way we really grow as a publishing company and we can help out our people. So please only submit something you feel like is really good. Okay, so after you've chosen a publisher, you'll need to look at their games. And this can wildly change what you create. For example, let's check out Ketchup versus Chilingo. All right, now Ketchup, they've had a lot of hit games out there, right? The Lion's End that we published did really great. #1 game in the United States in over 40 or 35 countries, something like that. Top 10 in the US. Of course, Sky beat me. Nick with Sky, he's in the office with me. He's dancing right now with no clothes on. And that hit #7, so he did beat me. All right, now Circle, all right? We're seeing a trend here for sure with these games, right? Really simple, really minimal. And then Zigzag, their most successful game. All right, now this is interesting. If you notice a game is really successful for a publisher, you think they're going to want more games like that? For sure. Now, how can you find out how successful a game is for a publisher? Well, you can click on the Game Center button. Most all these publishers are going to require Game Center support, so they have leaderboards, and you can see how many Game Center players, how many active Apple accounts have played the game. And that's how you can tell which is doing the best. Now, our friend Florian, who made Ball Jump, just crushing it right now, has a lot more games signed with publishers. He's just doing amazingly well. But Florian came up with a pretty cool little formula here. When you look at the amount of players in Game Center, you can multiply that by around 2.5, anywhere from 2.3 to 3. All right, so we just say 2.5 in the general vicinity of there. And that's probably how many players they have. So that's a cool little formula to figure out around how many downloads total a game has. So you can go and you can look at these guys and see their most successful game. And then if you model off of that, you got a pretty good shot. So if I was going to make a game for Ketchup, I would want to do something isometric, kind of minimal, stylish with a really cool color palette. That's the type of games they sign. So also, if we look at the gameplay, we can see it's all pretty simple. And I'll tell you another cool thing Florian came up with. This is tap frequency. And he talked about this in the interview that I did with him on Ball Jump, where instead of just focused on the graphical style or the gameplay, he thought about how often that you actually touch the screen, the frequency of your tapping. And he made Ball Jump was focused on zigzag and similar tap frequency to the most popular Ketchup games. He built that game from the ground up with Ketchup in mind and did extremely well with it. And by the way, that game beat me and Nick. He hit #2 in the App Store. So he did really good. Now we look at Chilingo. All right, now we can see this is just what I did is went to Chilingo and looked at their best, most downloaded games, right? Sorted it by most popular. And we can see here we have this cool 3D looking, what do you call that? Gosh, I used to go to these when I was a kid. They were awesome. I can't see the comments. I'm gonna have to turn on the comments. What do you call that? Like the mud rally stuff? All right, let's see. All right, someone help me out here. Oh, can you guys hear me okay? So, Monster Truck Rally. Thank you, David. See, David knows what's up. Monster Truck Rally. That's all right, man. That was some good times. All right, hey, real quick, can everyone hear me all right? I see Paul was having a problem, but that might be, not sure if that's me or you, Paul. It's not me. No, it's not you. It's me, Paul. It's me. All right, cool. Yeah, all right. Apparently it is Paul. All right, sorry, Paul. All right, so you can see we have a huge disparity of difference here. All right, we have like the minimal look. So if you go make a big complex 3D game, then you try to go like pitch it to every person out there, you're going to do nothing but ruin your reputation in the market, right? And Chillingo, as I said, they are doing more of the minimal style stuff, but I don't think they would sign a Line Zen game. I wouldn't send them Line Zen. I didn't send them Line Zen, right? Well, I couldn't because they own the rights. Ketchup did. That was a sequel. So, but anyway, we didn't send Sky to Chillingo, right? So you want to really look and see what they're currently doing and what they're having the most success with. Pick a publisher and then build a game around that. So if you want to be with Ketchup, you'll need to make minimal games that are portrait, one touch, and based on polygons. That's another important thing. If you guys have not examined all the different publishers out there like Ketchup, then you probably don't know this, but Ketchup has a very specific formula. They're all portrait games, all right? And again, they're making the widest demographic games. You don't see games with a lot of pink. You don't typically see games with a ton of like really dark man colors either, right? They're really wide demographic. They're all portraits, so you don't even have to flip the phone around, all right? It's just like zero things stopping you from getting into that game. And they're one touch. You only have to use two hands. And all of this makes a really addictive gameplay that you can play in a line, when you're waiting to get food. You can play it at any time. Play it in your car like Nick does when you're driving down the interstate at 150 miles an hour with no pants on. All right, so if you want to go with Chillingo, you need to make 3D games, most likely with Unity, that might fit well on a console. That's what they're having the most success with, right? So coming up with ideas based on what publishers want is a pretty obvious approach, yet hardly anyone actually does it. They think they do it. They think, okay, I know that Ketchup likes minimal games, so I'm going to make a minimal game. But they don't actually go the extra mile. And if you want to see what it takes to go the extra mile, go listen to the interview on my Facebook page, facebook.com/TreyOfficial, and you can see the interview with me and Florian. And he talks about it. It took him forever, man. He went and thought about it, went back and forth and just fought with it. And he ended up doing an amazing game. And again, he's worked out a great relationship. He has a lot of stuff coming out with those guys. So I recommend checking out and researching each publisher. See how many downloads they're getting of their game. See how much kind of push they can give to your game, right? Looking at the Game Center and all that kind of stuff. See if they even push. You wouldn't believe some of these big, huge publishers out there don't even do cross promos. It's nuts. Most of them don't. Like Absolute does, but like Chillingo doesn't even do that. You can go look and it's not like every game Chillingo releases is going to be top 10 or anything like that. So do a lot of research. Do not get lazy on this and go, I'm just going to go with Ketchup because everyone else does. Because also you got to remember this. If everyone's going to Ketchup, then there are going to be a lot of people going to Ketchup, right? You're going to have a lot more to sift through. So if you can figure out how to make a game type that would work for multiple publishers, then of course that's a big benefit as well. You can go to the one you want the most. If it doesn't work out, go to this one, so forth and so on. All right, then after that, after you've isolated a publisher and really thought about this, you can come up with a game idea. All right, so let's talk about coming up with game ideas. If you followed my teachings at all over the years, and unless you just found out about us and what we're doing at BuildBox and Game Academy and all that, but if you followed us at all before, then you probably know my mantra. It's model and improve. If I ever write a book, it's just going to be called Model and Improve. Me and Nick have talked about this. His is going to be called Your Own Path. We'll talk about his whole mantra another day, all right? But now, since I've got the mic, we're going to talk about model and improve. And this is what you do, all right? You don't want to ever copy anything. You don't want to ever just go and say, okay, well, zigzag did good. I'm going to make zigzag zig, all right? That's not going to work. But every major game ever created has followed these same rules. including Angry Birds, which was modeled after Crush the Castle, Minecraft, which was modeled after Infinimiter, Doodle Jump, which was modeled after Poppy Jump, Candy Crush, which was modeled after Bejeweled, which was modeled after every Match 3 game ever, Clash of Clans, which was modeled after Galaxy Life, and more. None of these games, none of them, were based on 100% original ideas. And even Sky, Nick's darling game, which he would love to think was 100% original. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about this. It's not! It's not, Nick. It's not. There's not an original thought in the No, I'm playing. All right, it has a lot of originality. All right, but there's a lot of improvements, but it is modeled. First off, you see anything similar between these two games, Nick? You see anything right there? How about Zigzag, right? So Zigzag, again, we know that's Ketchup's most profitable, biggest game out there, right? Did phenomenal. And you can, again, see that by looking at Game Center. So Nick, look at the angles here. You notice how similar those are? All right, that was definitely the isometric look was modeled off of this because we knew this was a successful isometric look. Also, when you hold down the jump button in Sky, the character keeps on blopping along, keeps on jumping. That's just like Geometry Dash, and that's where Nick got that idea. Or I might have did I come up with that idea? I can take credit for that one. All right, sweet. I always try to take credit for Sky. Whenever I'm talking to someone or recording a video or something like that, I always mess around. I do a take like that I don't keep in the video that I'm joking around. I go, and now let's talk about the game I created called Sky. Now, I came up with every part of this. But of course, Nick did everything. That's the only thing I can say I did in Sky was have that, which I don't even know if it made the gameplay better. And then Portal, right? We have obviously portals in there, and Nick added his own thing. He didn't just model portals and that's it, because he added cloning, which is really cool. And I can't think of another game. Did you come up with that on your own, the cloning thing? Was it an accident just because you made the portals and that happened to clone? Yeah. So happy accidents. That's great too. All right. So again, now I like to pick on Nick with Sky. It is a very original game. But my point is this: everything is a remix. Nothing is original. Everything is modeled and improved, whether you know it or not, okay? Because you're going to have inspiration from things. You're going to draw inspiration from things you do in your life and things you play and things that you enjoy. And that's definitely true here. So while I don't think Nick really sat down and thought about any of those, except for, did you think about Zigzag when you were making Sky at all? Is that why you made it isometric? Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's shaking his head here. Yeah, he's saying kind of, yeah. So there was a time when we started focusing on isometric, and I'm sure that drew influence. So I was trying to deconstruct really the brain of Nick, which is a tough thing. But anyway, you get the idea. Nothing is 100% original. Everything's a remix. So the first thing you need to do is choose a publisher that you're going to research. And I recommend going with the one whose games you like the most, all right? If you're going to sit there and spend so much time doing this, then you might as well do it around things that you enjoy. Might as well make a game you like in the process. Then closely examine their games. See what's doing the best for them. And then look for what kind of games can be made with BuildBox. The criteria for a BuildBox game is pretty simple. If it's 2D and it scrolls, BuildBox can typically do something similar. You might not be able to do the exact same thing, but you don't want to, right? You don't want to copy it anyway. If you need any help with this, then you can try discussing it in the BuildBox forum. Don't say, I'm going to be making a game like this, but you can say, hey guys, what about something like this here? Or even better, hey, how do I do a zigzag type thing? I can't get that done. I know some people figured that out with BuildBox, believe it or not. Me and Aaron were blown away at BuildBox Games. We couldn't believe that someone did that. All right, so now gathering elements. This final part is simple. It's just talking about gathering elements. It's very easy for your game. Now, this can be done. Actually, it's not necessarily easy. It can be easy or it can be really difficult depending on the type of game that you choose to make, all right? If you're doing a minimal game, then you just need a simple shape creator, Photoshop, Pixelmate, or anything like that. But if you're doing a game for Chilingo and you're gonna do something with crazy 3D stuff, all high-end, high-poly 3D, you're gonna need modelers, you're gonna need a lot more going on to do that. So make a list of what elements that you'll need to start your game. After you've isolated a publisher and you've looked and seen what type of games are doing the best for that publisher, then you want to make a list. And typically this will include the following. First, you're going to have a character. Is that character going to be a circle? Is it going to be a square? Is it going to be a triangle? Is it going to be a cute character like we did in Cavern? All right. For example, a lot of the stuff we're trying to do, I'm trying to branch out a little bit with BuildBox games. I'll just tell you guys, right? I'm good friends with Ketchup. I don't want to go do the same thing they're doing. I'm trying to bring more cute characters into the stuff that we're doing. All right. And I'd like to eventually start bringing some more illustration in. I know everyone has a hard time with that, so we're not going to push that in the beginning. But eventually, that's where I'd like to get. Is we're publishing. I'd love to have a mixture of minimal with Nintendo. That's my look. That's what I really like. I'm ready to bring back the illustration a bit, slowly but surely, but definitely cute characters. And then backgrounds. What kind of background are you going to do? All right, look and see again. What are they pushing out there? Like we like doing theme stuff, right? Like Cavern and then some of the other games I can't talk about yet that we're in the middle of signing. I kind of like doing that cool theme stuff. All right, Ketchup likes more just simple stuff that doesn't have a huge theme going on. And then Chilingo and Absolute are going to all have their own thing. Go look and see what they're signing. Then objects. What type of objects are you going to have in your game? You know, is it going to be black spikes? Is it going to be, purple dragons? What are you going to have in there? And then, of course, enemies as well. So you can add in power-ups and more as we'll discuss next week. But the focal point now should be the core of your game. And what I like to do is mock up the graphics in software like I use Pixelmator. You can use GIMP, which is free. You can use Photoshop, which is the most popular. And so I mock this stuff before ever putting things into BuildBox. And sometimes this mock-up period will take weeks before I really finalize the design and start a new BuildBox section. All right. And also I typically have 5 or 6 mock-ups in progress at any given time. And most don't see the light of day, right? Most of the times I'm making something and nothing ever happens with it. But this is where I get the creative flow really going, when I start playing around with these mock-ups and colors. And I do this for fun in the evening. It's a great habit to get into. A lot of times I'm watching, I love binge watching TV shows on Netflix and stuff like that with my wife. And I have my laptop out. I've done this my whole life, like sort of whole professional career, right? It's how I launched my first business. I was a real estate agent, and I'd come home and I would start doing stuff on the internet. And it's how I started the game business and all this stuff. And I still do it to this day, right? And I don't have to. It's just because I really enjoy it. So I sit down and I'm playing around with different colors sometimes. Sometimes it'll be really simple. It'll be just like a background color and a platform and then like a square for a character, and that's it. And I'm just sitting there playing around, maybe this color combo, maybe this. And then every once in a while, that'll actually turn into something. All right, so I'm going to open it up now for some questions. And yeah, see, I was dead on. It's 3:35, so that was good. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, now that's a good point, Luke. So, Lucas, I'm not saying that every game ever with Ketchup is portrait and actually phases is landscape. But it's the general, if you look at it, I mean, we're talking about, probably 80% or something like that, right? All right, cool. So, guys, any questions about any part of this? Anything at all? Yes, Scott, definitely want to focus on high quality, for sure, my man. All right, guys, well, that was great. I'm playing, but hey, we got to ask questions because I got nothing else to teach. So we got to have some more feedback going on. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting some. All right, do you have some examples of games that fit the BuildBox Publishing brand? Yeah, all right, so let's talk about a few. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up a couple. That'll be fun. So, let's see. I'm going to not show my screen for a second. Yeah, I'll show you guys some stuff we have working. This is pretty cool. All right, make sure I got the right version of BuildBox pulled up. All right, so let me show you guys Cavern. This game's really cool. So this is a jumping game, and I don't know how good the quality is going to be on this live stream, but you can't move left or right. This is Gene. This is the kind of stuff I'm looking for, where it's like a really just simple change in gameplay dynamics. It doesn't have to be something super complicated. Like I've never seen a jumping game, and there might be some out there, I haven't seen it though, where you have to change your direction and move around just by the objects that you're interacting with in the world. And that's what he did with this game, and I think it's really, really good. It's hard too. It's a hard game. It's really good. I showed this at Apple and they really liked it too, which was cool. All right, cool. So now let me turn my screen off real quick and I'll show you one more. All right, let's see one that I think we've signed paperwork on. Well, I'll show you, there's a couple that I can't show yet that are based on pixel graphics. And I do like pixel graphics. I'm gonna show you guys another one. But this is more the kind of minimal style, and that's not the only thing that we're focusing on though. Pixel graphics are great, but I understand it's hard to do. So we're definitely signing minimal stuff. All right, so this is cool. So this is another one. This was made by Muyo, and we added a couple things to this too, like the not much at all, but just like this cool little graphic here going back and forth, and some of these little particle effect things. You know, added that in there as well. And this is just a really simple, Apple really liked this one too. It's really simple, but really annoyingly difficult, and you keep on wanting to play it and try to beat your score. But it's unique. Like, I haven't seen a game, you know, like I've seen similar, right? But I haven't seen anything that looks like this. And you know what's funny, I showed my daughters like 5 different games that we were signing, the first 5, and this was their favorite one. This is the way they kept on. They thought the other ones and the other ones are a lot more complicated and stuff. This was like the most simple one, but they kept coming back to this. Yeah, good music on that one too. All right, so let me check out some more questions here. Okay, so great question. All right, who asked this one? All right, Jamie. About optimizing sizes of images. All right, so first off, not sure if you guys know this, but with ImageBox, it will do that. So you can optimize sizes in that. But what I like to do is create everything in 1080p. So when I'm creating something, I do, you can see it's already 1920 by 1080. So, or I do 1080 by 1920 if I'm doing portrait. By the way, we will sign landscape games. We're not only doing portrait games. That's a big difference between us and what Ketchup typically signs as well, because I like landscape as well. And anyway, so what I'll do is I will build everything in 1920 by 1080. And when our artist builds things, like he did with Cavern and does those backgrounds and stuff, he has to do everything at 4K. Because, you know, with ours, I mean, when I build something, it's really simple. I'm not a good artist, so I'm just using shapes and just building out really simple stuff. But when he's doing like really complex things that would be hard to recreate. So I have him do everything in 4K. And then, so let me show you what I would do. So, and let me show you why I love Pixelmator. All right, so I'm going to pick a few colors here. We're going to, let me actually go ahead, click on here. Let's choose like a yellow. All right, and then we'll choose blue here. All right, so that's going to be our platform. Our background is going to be, make this like there. There we go. And let's turn off the shadows. There we go. And then we're going to have a character that's going to be a square. And we're going to make him like that. All right, now don't like these colors. I would definitely want to play around with that more. A lot of times, like doing dark platforms and then light backgrounds has worked out really well for us. We do that a lot. All right, and there we go. Okay, so then I have a character, and let's say we end up changing this character around a little bit, and then we'll give him like a little eye as well. There we go. All right. Told you I'm a terrible designer. All right, so what we'll do is we're going to add these to a group. And then what I would do is just grab this group. Actually, I would name it character. I try to keep my stuff organized. And I would grab this group and just drop it right there. And it drops a build box ready PNG. Now we can see it's too big, okay? So then I open that and I just gauge the look of it, right? I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, let's try 50%. It's still too big. So we're gonna go down, we're gonna try, let's try 70% of that. All right, I think that's good enough. Then I save that. And I still have my original here at any time. You know, I can pull that off right there at any time. And now I have my character and I drop that into build box. So I do all the sizes manually, and I try to make sure I keep high res versions. That way, if we ever want to do something on a desktop PC or something like that, then we can easily do that. All right, let me pull this back over here. Oh, best way to cold email publishers. JC, great question. All right, so the secret to cold emailing publishers is simply having a great game, because they're going to look at every single game that comes by. That's their job, right? If you email any of these guys, they're going to look at your game. Now, what I do is I always start with videos, okay? And this has worked out well for me. And I know a lot of people ask for test flights and stuff like that. But if I create something, I know that I'm going to create something they really like. And I know that they're all really busy. And I like to just send a video and go, hey, look, if you like this, let me know. And then I'll be glad to send over a test flight or whatever you need to check it out closer. And that's worked out really good for me. UI design. So again, Paul, one thing I like to do is focus on model and improve. All right, and I'll tell you the biggest tip I have for UI is keep it simple. When we did Bounce, we had a UI that was really complicated. Something was bothering me, and I sent it to Ketchup. We worked on the game a lot on the UI, and it was just not, I wasn't happy with it. So I sent it to those guys, and I was like, okay, here we go. And they were like, hey, this UI is not working. And I was like, no, I'm just having a hard time. They were like, well, just simplify it. Just remove anything but one single color, pick one color, and just simplify it. And it looked great, and it's what's in the store right now. And we just had like multiple colors for different buttons. I think like the unlock we did red, so drew more attention to it or something like that. And Game Center was blue. And then we had like a gray bar down the middle. It was still very minimal, but it was not minimal enough. So if you look at phases, you look at the UIs we create, they are simple. Typically just one color, very, very simple stuff. Sane said, what was your experience with Ketchup? Love working with those guys. They were really, really great. Absolutely not one negative thing I could say about them. And we're still planning on doing a lot of business with them. Are there any basic things you look for to determine whether a game idea has potential? Terry, the biggest thing I'm looking for is fun. Is the game fun to play? And I mean, that's really what it's about, because especially with Build Box Publishing, where we're publishing games to customers, we don't mind if needed. At least, here's how it works with most publishers. Let me tell you, this is important, guys. If you submit a game to a big publisher and it's not ready for them to release in their eyes, like when they see it, then they're probably not even going to respond to you. You're not going to get anything back, okay? You do it once or twice, it's not going to be a problem. But if you send them 10 games and you get no responses, you're hurting your relationship with them, because they're not going to forget that. They see the same name popping up 10 times, and it's always games that are way off base, okay? Now, Terry, on our side, if we see something that we think has a lot of potential gameplay-wise, it's really fun, then what we'll do is typically say, okay, this is really fun. Here's your problem. Here's what you're doing. You need to focus on these graphics being more polygonal. You need to try to not do these curved edges here. Give it back to us like that, and let's go from there. And then, okay, well, now this looks good, but we have one more thing. Okay, I'll tell you what, let's just get Danny to change the background out, and then we're done. That's kind of how we flow with it, all right? So we're mainly looking for fun games, because I know that we can easily get you to tweak games that are fun to make them really good looking. Oh man, Dario, meeting with Apple went phenomenal. I can't talk about it because it's under NDA, but much, much better than I could have ever imagined. So they knew about BuildBox, they knew about you guys' games. They were really excited about what we're doing, excited about BuildBox Publishing, excited about BuildBox in general, and the fact that we're able to empower regular people to make games. They just, the whole concept was big, and I've got a lot more meetings lined up, so I'm really excited about that. Susanna, I cannot talk about the split rates with Ketchup, unfortunately. I can't really talk about any of the specifics like that because of NDAs. Yeah, Salkir asked about how to create isometrics. So let me show you the easy way. And I am not a professional at this. You're about to see why. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make a square. If I hold down Shift, we're going to make a square like that. And then what we can do is grab one of these lines. Now I'm going to make this a little bit darker so we can see it better. And I'm going to zoom in. Doing Command plus, I can zoom in. All right, now what I'm going to do is grab and just use this line tool to make a line right there. You see me moving around. Now if I hold down the Shift button, you can see it snaps. It snaps to 45 degrees right there, okay? Now it's not that you always want to do 45 degrees. I'm going to show you the easiest way. When I make isometric, here's how I do it. All right, you can do any degrees. You can go this way as well if you want. All right, now we're going to go out to here, about right here I would think. Then we're going to cut 45 degrees back, and it was close. We can snap right there. All right, and then I'm going to go back and close the path. All right, so what we're going to do now is turn off the stroke. So there we go. We just have a line like that. Now, if you double click this, then you can move this around a little bit, and you can get the perfect shape. You know, if you didn't come out right that first time, which I think this did not. There we go. And then do the same thing again. I'm going to go down here, and of course we're going to turn off the stroke, and we can make that a little bit darker. And we have our first little thing. Now we're going to grab this into a group. So I'd highlight all these, add them to a group, make it a little bit smaller. And now I can duplicate this. You can see we can extend it out. And if some of the lines aren't meeting up, it's because I didn't do the perfect 45 degrees, and we could go in there and then tweak this stuff by double clicking each one and then making it however we want. So that's the basics for making isometric graphics. You know what's funny? I was looking for a piece of software to do this for me. And I could not believe it, but I could not find anything in the Mac App Store. We might build something one day, just a really simple, almost like Minecraft, but a little bit, more detailed than that, like where you can do triangles and stuff like that, just for building games. Because there should be something like that out there, but there's not. Color changing, Chris, was done with just lights, which is pretty cool. Can you input early in Game Designer, or you need to be near complete to submit to BB? Rob, it has to be near complete, really finalized, like your finished version of the game, and then we'll look at it. So for example, when I sent that first email, we got 80 games, and we didn't sign, 30 made it through stage 1, we've signed 5. All right, so it's gotta be, and honestly, most of the games that were submitted were not ready, right? So, and we didn't mind, you guys are customers, we'll look at anything, but typically, if you don't see it being signed to a major publisher, it's probably not ready to send. Oh, Muyo! All right, you saw me demoing your game. That's great. All right, let's see here. Okay, so Jamie, would you be open to future spin-offs of a game you signed with BuildBoxer? Yeah, okay, so like if the guy that made Cavern wanted to make Cavern 2, we would be happy to publish it for him, and we actually have in the contract that, and I can't discuss any of the deals, I can't discuss like Ketchup and other guys, I can discuss us, but that we have first right to refusal for a sequel. That's part of the contract. Also, it's a 2-year contract with the game. So if you release Cavern with us, then in 2 years you could delist it with us if you wanted to. In our position with other publishers, we haven't wanted to because they're still making money. Ben, is this being recorded so we watch it together? So much valuable info. Awesome. Glad you like it, dude. Yes, I am recording it. Rowdy Rats, what's going on, my man? When using a publisher, do they take care of ASO, screenshots, videos, descriptions, etc.? They all do it differently. Most of the ones that I know of do ASO. They will make you do the screenshots and videos. We do the same. We write descriptions, we do screenshots, we work with you on screenshots, we require you to do a video, we do ASO. But ASO at this point it's really tough, man, as you I'm sure know. So that's not our main focal point. We do ASO for sure, but our strategy is not search anymore at all with publishing. It's relationships with App Store, with feature departments in app stores, and then doing our outside promos, because now that the brand's gotten big enough to where we have 250,000 people we can email and all that stuff, that's what our focus is. All right, Susanna asked about BuildBox Publishing. What's the format? How does it work? It's really simple. You just email support@buildbox.com, and you want to make sure you include 3 of your best screenshots, a video of your game. You don't have to send a BB doc, just that stuff. And then we will look at it, and since we know BuildBox so well, we can look at it and say and get a really good idea how the game plays. And then we will, if you are passed into stage 1, if you pass stage 1 rather, then we will email you back within 24 hours and let you know and what fixes you need to make to, to get approval for stage 2. All right, where can I get documentation or a video about isometric games in BuildBox? You know what? That's a great question, Paul. We don't really have anything. I would recommend talking on the forum. That's a pretty popular subject. As I mentioned before, it's something I definitely want to focus more on. So that's something that we'll be focusing more on in the future, though. Any concerns about publishers to watch out for? Chris, great question. And I've totally forgot to bring this up. Yes, actually, one of those publishers that I mentioned before, and I'm not going to say their name, but I'll tell you guys that one of those guys, I had a friend have a really big problem with them, okay? So you've got to research each publisher very closely. If you find one negative review, I talked about this in the last week. If you guys didn't watch the last week on taking your business to the next level, I'll talk about some of this. But it's one thing if you find a bad review out there, right? It's fine, all right? That's going to happen. You're going to have some guy who's probably his fault, right? He didn't do something he was supposed to do or something like that, and he's out there bashing someone, right? That's going to happen. If you find 2 guys out there bashing a publisher who worked with him, then you got to start thinking, okay, well, I got to think about this seriously. You find 3 guys, then you back out, okay? At that point, it's you got to watch out. But yeah, you definitely have to watch. There's some sharks out there, man. You got to watch out. Now, the reason I left the publisher in there, I know some other people who've had great experiences with them. The same publisher. Maybe they woke up and had a bad day and decided to take it out on this other guy. Who knows? BuildBox Publishing will take games around the year. Is there a window when you open and close? No. We are, this is long-term play. So we're going to release a game a week for, forever, hopefully. That's the plan. And we're also going to be branching out. We're right now doing iPhone, Android, and Apple TV. If you guys who've been around remember the original BuildBox launch, my whole focal point is going really wide, and that's the goal with BuildBox Publishing. We're going to ramp up to doing Amazon, then we're going to ramp up to doing Amazon TV, then we're going to ramp up to Mac App Store. My goal is each week we have a company that takes your BB doc and spreads it out everywhere on every angle and has great reporting features and all this stuff. It's going to be really, really cool. All right, new question. Is there a way for BuildBox Publishing to work with the developer to create an email collection option to put a link in an app like a subscription sign-up form so that BuildBox Publishing can develop it each can hold all those emails collected for that particular game? All right, so Jamie, good question. No, that would not work, all right? So there is too much weird canned spam stuff for us to collect emails and share them with the developer. All right, really weird stuff like that. You own a different company, I own a different company, and BuildBox Games is even owned by a different company, which is my company 8Cell owns BuildBox and Game Academy and BuildBox Games and Mac, right? So no, that would not work. I've thought about collecting emails, but then we have another issue, which is so many young players on mobile. And legally, you're not supposed to take anyone's email who I believe is below 13 years of age without their parents' permission. So I've decided for now just to pull back on that. Now, one day we might do email opt-ins or something like that because I think it would be a fairly effective way to promote. But at this time, no, we're not. All right, this is from David. Are you finding endless games versus level games with an N more popular on mobile versus computer, Steam, Windows, Mac, etc.? Yes, we are finding that endless games are still doing extremely well. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it kind of shocks me because it's been such a long trend. But yeah, they're still doing well. People still like to try to beat their score and beat their friend's score. And that's what the endless game genre is all about. So we're still seeing that do really great. How can you change the background angle to 45 degrees so that isometrics look more 3D? It's really simple. So we just pull up this sucker right here, and we just go right here, and we just go to advanced gameplay settings, game direction, and we could do 45 degrees, and then we could play Super Pixel and 45 degrees and probably die really fast. But you can see it's moving in that 45 degree angle. Oh, Hexels is awesome for isometric. All right. I have not been able to find anything, so let me check this out. I hope I don't pull up anything inappropriate while we're here. Uh-oh. Looks like we might be. All right, let's see. Oh, cool, man. This might be exactly what I was looking for. Let's explore hexuality together. Let's see. Oh, dude, this is great. Wow, I think this is exactly what I was looking for, man. Great. Cool. Hexels. All right. I'll just keep that up so I make sure I remember. That's awesome. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that, man. Okay, Torsten said that there was a thread in the forum about that. See, need to be on the forum more. Are you planning to release a game a week? Yes, we are going to do a game a week for sure. We already got the first 4 weeks lined up. All right, new question. Will BuildBox Publishing allow for the developer to make updates to the signed game? Definitely. Yeah, 100%. Does monetization scheme have any impact on game selection by publishers? No, not too much, because most publishers out there are focused on ads for monetization. Still by far the most best way to do it. Now, some publishers, like we require people, you don't have to do this though when you submit to us. And most publishers you won't have to. Most publishers are looking for an addictive game to sign, okay? With really cool graphics and great style. And but a lot of publishers right now, including us, are requiring to add coins and then earn coins by watching a video because it's just monetizing so well. And this changes. It might be something else next week, but you don't have to have that to submit to anyone. All right. Oh, cool. Yeah, Hexels again. Awesome. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. And Terry said great information. Awesome. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you coming out. What is the demographic of BuildBox games, men or women? We are going wide demographic because our goal is to get chart placement, which means it's going to be half men, half women. So yeah, but again, I want to focus on, eventually I'm going to bend BuildBox games to be more into the illustrative style, and I still want minimal. Like I said, my ultimate style is going to be minimal plus Nintendo. Hey, do we have Pit? Can we show Pit? Yeah, probably not, right? Okay. Yeah, I'll show you. We're working on a new game, and I'll show you guys later, but I can't show you yet. But anyway, it really does that kind of style really good. Any news on Apple TV support in BB? Yes, we actually have it working right now. It's just for us. No, I'm playing. All right, and yeah, Nick, any news on support for Apple? All right, he's doing the gun to the head thing, like he's blowing his brains out. How close are you? This close? Oh, I don't know. Is that close or not? Oh, that's a great question, I believe. All right, so here's the thing. Let me tell you guys what's up. We've got it working for our first game that comes out with BuildBox Publishing. We're doing an Apple TV release with iOS. But we're not happy with it because Apple has made things difficult for a platformer style game, and that's what we're creating. So, and I guess we're under NDA with Apple too, so we can't talk about that. But anyway, I'm hoping to have something for you guys to answer your question in the next few. I mean, the goal was by tomorrow, so we'll see. I don't know though. You're not going to have it ready tomorrow, are you? Yeah, next week. All right, next week. All right, Terry, sorry, but I'm in the parking lot of a charity. Awesome. Well, this is more important than the charity, I'm sure. And I have to attend a charity event. Thanks for a great session. I'm playing Terry. You're going to a charity. Your name is Cherry. All right, in BB, are you able to add incentivized ads for coins, rewards, etc.? All right, so yeah, we definitely can do that. And that's what I was talking about, like watch this video to get more coins. So you definitely, but you can't incentivize other apps. You can't say go download this app to get more coins or Apple will ban your stuff. All right, so what about ad networks? Will the publisher tell the developer which ad network he has to use? Wow, these are great questions. Yes, Lucas, 100%. Daria, will they be featured by Apple? I'm assuming you're talking about our games, and hey, fingers crossed, but nobody ever can guarantee that, right? With any publisher in the world, you never really know until the game comes out because Apple doesn't publish anything based on just a connection. You can help get things in front of people, right? But they're only going to publish games they think are amazing. All right, Cubicle is another one like Hexels. Let's check it out. All right. That's amazing. I've looked for this kind of stuff. I could not find it. All right, professional voxel editor. Oh, look at that. Looky here. All right, let's see if we can see. Wow, look at that. That looks cool. Does it have shading and everything? That looks great. That's beautiful. Very cool. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Do you know any pubs that focus on casual puzzle games like Match 3, Bubble Shooter, etc.? Yeah, and again, you got to go research and see who's pushed that stuff out. But I believe Chilingo has and still would be pushing stuff like that. But definitely go look at that list earlier, and they will be doing that. Games for children. Christopher, I do not know any publishers that focus on that. You got Toka's probably one of the biggest kid companies out there. My kids love their games, but I'm pretty sure they're all in-house. All right, Jamie, did you say that Bbox Publishing aims at publishing signed games for all platforms that Bbox can export to, not just mobile but desktop? How about Steam? 100%. So if we can get in with Steam, which, hey, Nick, after we publish phases, which we like to wait a year before we actually publish games on Steam, does that mean we can upload games whenever we want to Steam? I wonder how you get that connection. We'll have to find out. Yeah, we're working on a really cool thing, man. Really cool thing, Jamie, that takes a portrait game and makes it work for landscape. Nick just showed me the demo, and it's so cool, man. It's really cool. And we're doing this for Apple TV because when I was talking to Apple about our games being portrait, they were like, yeah, you gotta come up with a solution. This is the solution we came up with. And if we do that and we can get a connection with Steam, which is tougher than any of the mobile guys, then I would love to be able to push out to Steam. And I think we can, definitely out here. But it's not anything that I've done yet. So right now, it's Android, iOS, of course, iPad and iPhone, and then Apple TV. Next up, we will be doing, having some talks with Microsoft. So I would like to do the Windows Store and then the Mac App Store. All right. Then after that, it's going to be Amazon and Amazon TV. And yes, eventually, I would like to definitely push each week to all those platforms. I think that would be the way to go. And we've got a developer license with the Wii, Nintendo Wii as well. So one day, Nick's going to program that. Take him. he's doing the blow my brains out hand signal again. All right, new game presets coming too. You know what, Lucas? I was thinking about doing the opposite, which is removing game presets, but I think that would probably upset a lot of people because I really want to see people do inventive stuff. And hey, even like me, man, I like to work in, I have a studio and a bunch of synthesizers and all that stuff. And I love starting with a preset and going somewhere. So it was just a one-day thought. But yeah, with there will not be any new presets until we do BuildBox 2, which is, it's like early development. So, but yes, eventually we will have new presets. By the way, the thread about tools is great resources. Feel free to add to. Awesome. Thank you, Torsten. I appreciate that. That's on the forum, guys. If you want to see more tools like this, apparently people have already had that conversation. Should have been on there instead of Googling one night. All right, can you please provide status on when you plan to send out an update for Soundbox and Iconbox and ImageBox? All three these do not contain check for updates. Only BuildBox and Animation Box have check for updates. Is that true, Nick? We don't have check for updates in Soundbox? All that stuff? Ah, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to write that down here, Dave. And let's see here. Let me get my list here. Okay, cool. I got that written down. So I will have to look into that. I didn't know that, if you could not tell from my answer. All right. Oh, man, I'm going to say your name wrong. Ramalingam. Did I say that right? Hope so. Are you planning to release any new releases for BuildBox Master Collection? Yes, we're going to definitely be doing some updates there. I had one of the sound designers reach out and ask if we wanted to do any more sounds. So I think that would be cool. And so, but yeah, so do expect new features being added, over time. Right now, got to get BuildBox Publishing out. All right, so which of the games have been very successful in other stores besides the Apple's App Store? We've had some games be successful on Android. Sky did good on Android. I think Ball Jump did good on Android too. But that's really about it. That's all we focused on is iOS and Android. And Amazon, have we ever released a game on Amazon? Jump Pack? No? We don't know. We do not know if we've ever released a game on Amazon, but I think it's a really good idea. How about an outlook on BB 2.0? Man, right now, all I have is this right here. If I pulled it up, it'd probably crash because it's really, really early and it's ugly. But I have really excited about this. I've hired a designer who is phenomenal. This guy's great, and he has completely rewritten. I designed BuildBox. I did all the UI design myself on that, and I kind of gave him ideas of where I wanted to go with stuff, and Nick gave him a bunch of input, and he created a really amazing UI. So I'm excited about that, and that'll be coming to BuildBox 2. At BuildBox 1, didn't you redo something? Like some icons or something?
BuildBox 1?
Yeah, no? Was that BuildBox 2? The icons that Igor made?
Oh, a hybrid.
Yeah.
Squeezing something into 1.x.
Is it going to be new, like they'll get new icons?
Some, like game controller is going to be solely by them.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah, so we do have a few new icons coming for game controller and stuff like that that are made by this guy, which are pretty cool. And the Lion's Den, you have around 100 different levels. How do you decide how many levels to make? I'm working on a game based on slide. Awesome. As always, thanks for your efforts and guidance. Awesome, Rowdy. Man, so 100 is my minimum. So that's what our goal is. When Nick makes Sky, how many did you have in Sky, Nick? Do you know?
Around 100.
Yeah, about 100. It's a pain. Oh my God, it's terrible. You'll start to did you want to kill Sky, I bet, didn't you? Yeah, 100%. So, and Lion's Den too. It's just, I think actually I got the team to help me. That's right. I only did about 60 levels and had the team help out on that because had Master Collection launch. All right, so should we focus on freemium or paid games because of ad blocking apps? Well, Ben, the ad blocking apps that are out right now that work on native, I only know of one that goes through a VPN. It's really weird. I don't see people being really excited about that. The ad blocking that everyone's using is just for Safari app, right? Which is not going to affect us at all. And so right now, I don't see any danger on that end. I don't think people are going to want to go through a VPN on everything that they do through their phone. That's just kind of a weird thing. I think instead you'll have people who go into airplane mode to play your game and stuff like that. We'll see. If it becomes a real big issue, then freemium definitely and in-app purchases could be big again. We'll just have to see. Jamie, when BuildBox 2 comes out, can we still keep and use BuildBox 1 on the same computer laptop? Yes, 100%. All right, and saying R, as if you didn't know already, Natalie is very awesome. Great support from her. Yes, I did know she's awesome, so that's great. I'm glad that she's helped you. All right, how to create random levels as you did in the Lion's Den is not mentioned in any of the tutorials. All right, you ready? This is gonna be really easy. All you do is you go up here and you choose stack scenes and then hit OK. and then they're all random. That's it. And some of, like, this game's a good example. Some of these are shorter scenes, right? If you want really randomized, then do a few scenes. And we've actually had some scenes that are literally just like 3 things big and the lines in. Some are really small. All right, and the last one. Any planned dates for the upcoming live event in San Francisco? Yes. If you did not get the email, David, we had something bad happen. Then we had something really cool happen. So the bad thing that happened is we could not get a place that would fit all of us. We need minimum of 200, preferably 300 people in San Francisco, and everything was booked up. The good news is we were able to get something for GDC, which is crazy. And it's really funny. We actually were not able to get anything for GDC. It's like they just go crazy, man. They charge like 3 times as much, all this stuff, right? And they booked us for 2 weeks before, which I was not happy about. And then they called us and said, we accidentally booked someone else that day before you guys, and we didn't know it. Someone else on my team did it. So we're going to give you the GDC booking so you can get that. They didn't even offer it to us before. So that's pretty awesome. So you guys you come out on Saturday. We'll have our event Sunday. This is going to be a new format for me. I've decided it's not just going to be a bunch of speakers up there talking. We will have some of that, but I want this to be really interactive. So we're going to talk about building games live. I want you to bring your laptop, and we're going to do some pretty cool stuff. And then after that, Monday, GDC starts. So if you want to do GDC as well, you'll be able to do it. Even if you don't want to, there will be tons of other developers, 100,000 developers right around the corner. We're walking distance from GDC. We're like in the middle of it, so it's pretty cool. So that will be, it's in March. I believe it's the first or second week of March. Of course, we'll send more finalized details and all that. And the hotel is phenomenal, really cool, like funky hotel. We got seating for 300, so it's perfect setup for us. All right, guys, so that is it. Thanks so much. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope you learned something about signing with publishers. And again, the big thing is research. That's the difference between the guys who crush it and the guys who struggle, right? The guys who crush it, it's not an accident. They don't just slip and fall and crush it, all right? They end up researching it. They figure out some really, really cool stuff, and then they end up acting on that, all right? In this case, you want to find publishers. You want to see guys who are making games you like. You want to dissect what kind of games, not only that they're publishing, but what kind of games are doing well for them. And listen, when you approach a publisher and you say, hey, look, I made a game, I saw that this game did great for you. And I was thinking about how we could do our own version of that, but make it totally unique, right? And we took this idea from it, and this idea from it, and also this other game that I think you guys did pretty good. We took this idea and we combined it, and we made this really cool game. Here's a video of it. If you would like to see a test flight version, I'd be glad to show that to you as well. And I guarantee you that your response rate and your success rate will go up dramatically. All right, cool. So guys, thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you later.